Level 1, The Youngin'. You're 11 years old. You live in Parkway Gardens on the south side of Chicago. Everyone calls it O Block. You didn't name it, you didn't choose it. You were just born here, which means the block already owns you whether you know it or not. Your building is a 16-story tower that smells like mildew and old grease and something else you stopped noticing around age 7. The elevator hasn't worked since 2009. The stairs are where things happen that you learn not to talk about. Your mom works, doubles at the hospital, your older cousin runs with the older guys. You see him once a week, sometimes twice. He always has money, he always has shoes. You want shoes. Your job right now is nothing. You're too young. But you're watching. That's the job they don't tell you about. You watch how the older guys move, how they stand, who they nod to, and who they don't. You learn the geography of the block the way other kids learn math. Which corners are yours? Which corners belong to somebody else? Where you can walk and where you can't. School is technically still happening. You go sometimes. When you do, you sit in the back and watch the clock. The teacher says something about college. You look out the window at the parking lot where 3 guys you know are standing in the cold, doing exactly what they'll be doing when you get out of school. Exactly what they were doing when you walked in. You start running small errands, not for the guys yet, just around the building. You know who lives where. You know what time certain doors open. You know things that adults don't know because adults stopped paying attention and you never started. You're 11 years old, and you are already invisible in a way that is very useful. Level 2, The Shorty. You're 13. The older guys notice you, not because you did anything big, because you've been around long enough without doing anything stupid. That's the audition, not talent, patience. You kept your mouth shut. You didn't run to tell your mama when you saw something. You didn't flinch when the police rolled through and everybody scattered. You stood still. That got noticed. Now, you're a shorty. You're on the bottom of the structure, but you're in it. Your first real job is lookout. You stand on the corner with a phone. If you see a marked squad car, you send a message. If you see an unmarked car, which you learn to spot by the extra antenna and the way they slow down without stopping, you send a different message. You are paid $40 a day. Cash. No paperwork. No taxes. No explanation needed at home because your mom doesn't ask and you don't tell. $40 a day is $280 a week. You are 13 years old, and you have more consistent income than half the adults in your building. You buy the shoes. But here's what they don't tell you at 13. The $40 is a leash, not a salary. You are now inside something. Not because anyone sat you down and explained the rules. Because you took the $40 and stood on the corner, and now everyone on that block knows your face and your function. You belong to the block now. The block doesn't sign contracts. The block doesn't give 2 weeks' notice. You're in because you're in, and the only way out requires either a casket or a prison cell or a miracle that statistically doesn't happen to kids from Parkway Gardens. You don't know any of this at 13. You just know you have shoes. Level 3, The Runner. You're 15. You've been upgraded. You're not just watching corners anymore. You're moving things, small packages, from one point to another. You don't know exactly what's in them. You have a general idea. You don't ask because you already understand that asking questions is something stupid people do. Your route is memorized, not written down anywhere, never written down. You know it the way you know the layout of your own apartment in the dark. You move fast, you move casual, you keep your hands visible, and you never look at a police car directly. You look slightly past it, like you're thinking about something else. Like you're somebody who doesn't have anything to worry about. You've been practicing that face in the mirror since you were 12. If you get caught with what you're carrying, you're a juvenile. That matters. The older guys know it matters. That is not a coincidence. You are 15 because 15 is useful. The charge is lighter. The sentence is shorter. The system treats you different. The guys above you calculated this before you were born. You're making $200 a run. Some weeks you do 4 runs, some weeks you do 6. One afternoon you're walking back from a run and a car slows down next to you. Wrong color, wrong plates, you've never seen it on the block before. The window comes down halfway. You don't stop walking. You don't run. You look straight ahead, and you turn the corner, and you walk into a building that isn't yours, and you go up 2 flights, and you wait 20 minutes before you come back down. When you tell the older guys what happened, they nod. One of them says, "Good, that's it, good, one word." You feel it like a trophy. You're 15, and you just passed another test you didn't know you were taking. Level 4. The member. You're 17. You're in. Not just around, not just useful. In. You've been put on. There was no ceremony. No room full of men and a saint's picture and a bleeding finger like you see in movies. Just a conversation with someone who matters. A look, a handshake, an understanding. You are now a member of the organization. What that means practically is you have brothers, 15, 20, 25 guys who would move for you and who you would move for. That word, move, means a lot of things depending on the context. Sometimes it means show up, sometimes it means handle something. Sometimes it means something you don't say out loud. You're also now eligible for real money, not runner money, not lookout money. You have a role in actual distribution. You handle product, you handle transactions, you handle the money that comes back from the transactions. You are making real income now, not $200 a run. Real income. The kind that requires you to get creative about explaining where it comes from. You tell your mom you're working at a warehouse. She wants to believe you. You let her. The other thing that comes with being in is the other thing. The block has enemies. Not abstract enemies. Specific buildings, specific corners, specific people with specific names, who you now know by face and by reputation. The beef is old. Older than you. Some of it goes back 10 years, 15 years. You don't fully know the origin. Nobody does anymore. What you know is the current state of it, which is that certain streets are dangerous for you to walk down, and you are dangerous to certain people on those streets. You carry now. Not always, not everywhere, but you carry, because the guys who didn't carry are buried in Burr Oak Cemetery at 17 and 18, and their mamas still go there every weekend and talk to a headstone, and that is not going to be your story. You tell yourself that every morning. Level 5. The shooter. You're 19. They know what you are. Not everyone gets called for this. It's not a promotion exactly. It's more like a recognition of something that was already there. You don't scare easy. You don't hesitate. When things escalate, you don't freeze. That gets noticed the same way your patience got noticed when you were 13. The block is always watching, always filing information away. When something needs to happen, they call you. You don't do it for free. You do it for a number. The number depends on the job. Some jobs are personal, meaning someone on the block got touched, and this is retaliation, and you do that one. Because that's what brotherhood means. In a place where brotherhood is the only currency that actually holds value. Some jobs are business. Those have a price. You have done things you will never say out loud to anyone. Not to a lawyer, not in a confession, not to whoever you eventually try to love. These things live in a part of you that you access less and less, because accessing it and then walking through a normal day is not something a human brain does well for very long. You are also now the most legally exposed person in your organization. The lookout gets caught with a phone, the runner gets caught with product, you get caught with a body. Those are different sentences in a completely different category. The police are not trying to give you a year, they are trying to give you 20 to life, mandatory, no parole, in a federal system that does not negotiate. You know this. You carry it around with you the same way you carry everything else on the block. You don't put it down. You just get used to the weight. Your name has weight now, too. People know who you are. Not civilians, not the news, not the police yet, but the people who matter on the street. Your name means something. In this world, in this zip code, in this very specific geography of concrete and history and violence, your name means something. That's not nothing. That might be the most dangerous thing that's happened to you yet. Level 6. The captain. You're 22. People answer to you now. You have 8, 10 younger guys in your corner. Shorties, runners, members. They look at you the way you used to look at your cousin. You see it in their faces. You remember being that age and thinking the older guys had everything figured out. Now you're the older guy, and you know that nobody has anything figured out. You're all just moving forward, because stopping means dying, and moving forward might also mean dying. But at least you're moving. Your job is management. You set the schedule. You assign the corners. You handle disputes between your guys before they become something bigger. You collect the money, and you make sure the right amount goes up the chain, and the right amount comes back down. You are a middle manager in an organization that does not have an HR department and resolves personnel issues with extreme prejudice. The money is better, significantly better. You're clearing multiple thousands a week. You have a car, a real one. You have an apartment that isn't in the towers. You have the beginning of a life that looks, from the outside, almost normal. But you're also responsible for everything your guys do. When one of your shorties does something reckless on a corner at 2 in the morning, and the body lands in the wrong place, and it's all over the news the next day, that comes to you. When one of your members gets into it with a crew from Inglewood over something petty and stupid, and it almost starts a war that nobody wants and nobody can afford right now, you're the one who has to fix it. When the police start putting a case together, and they start with the youngest person they can find, and they offer him a deal he can't turn down because he's 17 and terrified, you are the one who has to worry about what he knows and what he'll say. You sleep light. You have been sleeping light for years, but now you sleep lighter. One of your guys gets shot on a Tuesday. He lives, but barely. You go to the hospital. You stand in the hallway and you look through the window at him in the bed with the tubes and the machines, and you think about when you were 11 and you first saw the block and you thought you wanted what the older guys had. You have it now. You stand in that hospital hallway, and you have it. Level 7, the OG. You're 25. That is old on O Block. Not old like your grandfather. Old like you have survived something that statistically you were not supposed to survive, and everyone around you knows it and treats you accordingly. You are an OG now. What that means is different from what movies say it means. It doesn't mean retired. It doesn't mean you sit on a porch and dispense wisdom. It means you are a resource. You have experience. You have history. You have relationships with people up the chain and across the city that younger guys don't have. You have seen how things go wrong in 10 different ways, and you know how to recognize the signs before they happen. Younger guys come to you with problems. Not always the big decisions. Sometimes just questions about how to handle something, how to talk to someone, how to read a situation. You give them what you know. Not everything. You never give anyone everything. But enough. You also carry weight that doesn't go away. Every person you lost is with you. You don't broadcast it. You don't post about it. It sits in the specific way you look at certain corners and certain dates on the calendar. The block has a graveyard of names that everyone carries quietly. You carry more than most, because you've been here longer than most. The police know your name now, not from a conviction, from a file, from surveillance photos, from confidential informants who mentioned you in conversations you were never in. They haven't touched you yet, but you feel the attention the way you feel weather changing. Your phone stays clean. Your car stays legal. You never put anything in writing. You never say anything specific on any device ever. You communicate through conversations that leave no record, and you have been doing this so long it is simply how you talk. You are also watching the younger generation, and they are moving differently than you moved. Social media changed the block. Everything is filmed. Everything is posted. People are putting their own case together and uploading it. You tell them to stop. Some of them listen. Some of them don't because they're 17 and 17 doesn't listen to anything. You remember being 17. You remember not listening. You can't be too angry. But you watch the federal indictments come down, and every time there's a video exhibit in the courtroom, it's something some shorty posted for likes, and you shake your head, and you keep your own phone dark and your own face off every screen you can control. Level 8, the indictment. You're 27. It comes on a Wednesday. Doesn't matter what time, doesn't matter how it starts. What matters is that there are federal agents at your door and at 4 other doors simultaneously, and the operation has a name, and the name has been years in the making. Rico, racketeer, Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, a federal statute designed specifically to dismantle organizations like yours from the top down. They don't just charge you for what you did. They charge you for being part of something. Every crime anyone in your organization committed for the past 10 years is potentially yours. Every murder, every drug transaction, every extortion, even the ones you had nothing to do with, even the ones you didn't know about. You are the organization. The organization did these things. Therefore, you did these things. Your lawyer explains this to you in a room with no windows. The federal conviction rate is 93%. Your lawyer says this not to scare you, but because you asked for the truth, and this is the truth. 93% of people who go to federal trial are convicted. The government doesn't bring cases they don't win. They build for years, and then they strike, and the evidence they have is usually enough to bury you and then bury you again. You have a choice. Cooperate. Give them names, dates, locations, hierarchy, everything. In exchange, you get a reduced sentence, maybe 10 years, maybe 8. You'd be out before 40 if you're lucky. Or go to trial, maintain your innocence, make them prove it. Watch your lawyer dismantle their witnesses one by one and hope that the jury sees reasonable doubt somewhere in the mountain of evidence they are going to put in front of them. You think about the guys who cooperated. You know their names, you know what happened to their families, you know what happens to their reputation for the rest of their lives in every city they try to live in. That door doesn't open and close. It opens and stays open, and everyone can see through it forever. You go to trial. Level 9. The sentence. You're 28. The jury deliberates for 6 hours. You sit in a room and wait, and the 6 hours feel like 6 years. Your lawyer is calm the way lawyers are trained to be calm, which means nothing about whether you're going home or going to a cage. Your family is in the gallery, your mother is in the second row. You don't look at her directly, because if you look at her directly, you will lose the only composure you have left. Guilty. On all counts. The judge reads the sentence. Decades, not years, decades. The kind of number that requires you to do arithmetic about how old you'll be when you walk out. The kind of number that means your life, as you have built it, is over. The car is gone, the apartment is gone, the block is gone. Your name, which meant something in a very specific geography, now means something completely different. Now it's on a federal court document. Now it's in a press release. Now it's a number in a database. You are transferred to a federal facility. Not county, not state, federal. The difference matters. Federal facilities are quieter in the way that very serious things are quiet. There are men here from organizations across the country. Men who built things you only heard about. Men who are 20 years into sentences that had 30 years left. You learn immediately that the block, which felt like the entire world for your entire life, is a very small place inside a very large system that has been processing people like you for a very long time. Your mother visits the first month, then every other month, then twice a year. Not because she loves you less, because the drive is long and the visiting hours are short, and watching your child through a piece of glass for an hour and then driving 4 hours home in the dark is a particular kind of pain that eventually becomes too heavy to carry on a schedule. You write letters. You read, more than you ever read in school. You have time now in a way you never had before, and time, it turns out, is a different kind of currency in here. You think about the 11-year-old watching the corner. You think about the $40 and the shoes. You think about every single fork in the road and which direction you chose. And you sit with those choices in a concrete room with nothing else to sit with. But O'Block doesn't wait. The block doesn't pause for your sentencing. It doesn't hold a moment of silence. Before your trial even started, someone new had already stepped into the space you left. A shorty who's been watching the corners since he was 11, who's been making himself useful, who kept his mouth shut and didn't flinch when the squad cars rolled through. He got the phone, he got the $40. He bought the shoes. The federal indictment with your name on it got framed somewhere between a cautionary tale and a myth. The younger guys reference it the way people reference history. Something that happened. Something that was real. A name that meant something. Your name still means something on the block. just not the way you wanted it to. The drugs keep moving, the money keeps flowing, the corners get held by whoever is willing to stand on them. The cycle runs the same loop it has been running since before you were born in that tower on the south side of Chicago, and it will run the same loop long after everyone alive today has forgotten the details. There is always another kid in Parkway Gardens watching the road. Always another kid who wants what the older guys have. Always another level. This is O-Block, not a gang, a structure. A system built on loyalty and fear and the specific mathematics of poverty and proximity. And it is still running.